announces itself as important. The morning comes without ceremony. The light settles in its usual place, and the world moves on quietly. There are no signs telling us this day will matter more than the others. But somewhere inside all this simplicity, there is a choice I keep making, to stay present, to stay gentle, to choose you without waiting for something special to happen first. We wake up without grand intentions, no plans to impress anyone, no expectations to make the day memorable, just familiar sounds around us and the comfort of knowing where we stand. Life doesn't ask us to be extraordinary today, it asks us to show up as we are. And I've learned that love doesn't need intensity to feel alive. It needs attention, patience, and the quiet decision to stay involved in ordinary moments. I don't wait for perfect timing to choose you on normal days. I still choose you in simple hours and unremarkable moments. On normal days when nothing stands out, I choose you, and that choice already makes today enough. We talk about small things without noticing how much they shape our closeness, what we'll eat, what we forgot to do, how tired we feel tonight. These conversations don't sparkle, but they hold weight. There's comfort in how natural they feel, how love doesn't need to perform. It doesn't rush ahead of noteworthy moments. It stays with us right where we are. Consistency becomes romance when it's shared willingly. On normal days, I don't search for something bigger, I don't look past you for excitement. On normal days, I choose us without asking the day to be more than it is. Some days pass without stories worth telling, no photos, no highlights, no drama. But even then your presence quietly changes the atmosphere, not in a dramatic way, just enough to feel grounded. Love like this doesn't interrupt life, it blends into it. And I've grown to value how naturally we exist inside each other's ordinary routines. Familiar doesn't mean empty, it means safe. On normal days when time feels plain, I still choose you. On normal days, I lean into what's steady instead of chasing excitement. We don't need every day to feel meaningful, we don't need constant reassurance. What we have lives in repetition, shared mornings, quiet evenings, the way we return to each other without effort or fear. Love isn't fading here, it's settling into something dependable, and settling doesn't feel boring. It feels like trust, learning where to rest. Trust grows slowly when it's real. On normal days, I don't question us. On normal days, I stay aware. On normal days, choosing you feels natural, unforced, steady. There's beauty in how little we ask from today. No pressure to make it unforgettable, no fear of missing something bigger. We let the day be simple, and in that simplicity shine. I don't need extraordinary relevance to know where my heart belongs. Belong in its booth and that attention, and in the ways my choice remains. On normal days, I choose to again. On normal days, I choose you again. On normal days, I choose you without hesitation. The future doesn't feel feel distant or heavy. It feels like more days like this. Quiet, steady, shared love isn't something I say for milestones. It's something I practice daily. And every human becomes part of a life we're slowly, intentionally building together. Daily choices shape lasting love. On normal days I stay aligned with you. On normal days I don't look elsewhere. On normal days I keep choosing what feels real. Years from now we may forget exact dates and details, but we'll remember this feeling that love didn't need constant celebration. It lived in the usual, and that's what made it strong. I don't need extraordinary moments to know where my heart belongs. Belonging is built through repetition. On normal days my choice remains. On normal days I choose you again. On normal days love feels quietly complete. Let life stay simple today. We don't need to decorate it. Choosing each other is already enough. On normal days, still choosing you. Still here, still us. So if today feels ordinary, let it be. Because on days like this I know something clearly. Choosing you in the ordinary is how love stays real. Still choosing you. Isn't a dramatic declaration. It doesn't arrive with certainty carved in stone. It happens quietly in the middle of days that look the same as yesterday. No audience, no announcement, just a steady awareness that even when nothing feels extraordinary, my heart keeps returning to the same place, to you. We don't wake up every day feeling inspired or deeply romantic. Some mornings are slow, some are rushed, some feel unfinished before they even begin. But even in those imperfect starts, there's comfort in knowing we're still facing the day side by side. Love doesn't always show up as excitement. Sometimes it arrives as reliability, as the calm decision to keep choosing closeness inside ordinary routines. I don't need reminders to choose you again. I'm still choosing you. On days that feel familiar, I'm still choosing you. When nothing stands out, I'm still choosing you. Not because today is special, but because you are. We talk about everyday things that wouldn't sound romantic to anyone else. Schedule small frustrations, things we forgot to do. But these conversations build something quiet, a sense of continuity, a feeling of being included in each other's lives. Love lives here now, not in grand gestures, but in shared attention, and listening without rushing, and staying present when the moment doesn't demand excitement. Romance doesn't disappear when it becomes familiar. I'm still choosing you in the middle of routine. I'm still choosing you when days blur together. I'm still choosing you because comfort doesn't scare me, it reassures me. Some days are quiet in ways we didn't expect at the beginning. The intensity softened, the pace slowed, and love learned a new rhythm. At first the calm felt unfamiliar, now it feels safe. Love didn't shrink, it settled, and in that settling I found something steady that doesn't disappear when the moment passes through. Calm doesn't mean absence, it means trust. I'm still choosing you when love feels gentle. I'm still choosing you when excitement rests. I'm still choosing you because this steadiness feels real. We don't need every day to prove something about us. We don't need constant reassurance to feel secure. What we have shows up in the way we return to each other without effort, in the way silence feels shared, not empty, in the way love stays present without demanding inattention. This kind of choosing doesn't shout, it stays. Staying consistent is a form of care. I'm still choosing you when nothing changes. I'm still choosing you. Never excitement, I'm still choosing you because ease has its own depth. There's no pressure here to make every moment count. We let days pass naturally without forcing meaning onto them, and that freedom keeps love light. I don't need to exaggerate how I feel, I live it in small decisions, in patience, in the way I remain emotionally close, even when life feels repetitive. Comfort grows when love feels allowed. I'm still choosing you in the usual as I'm still choosing you without hesitation. I'm still choosing you because choosing you feels like home. There's no pressure here to make every moment count. We let days pass naturally without forcing meaning onto them. Love didn't survive because it was dramatic, it lasted because it was consistent, and that consistency became our strength. Strength grows in repetition. I'm still choosing you today. I'm still choosing you again. I'm still choosing you because my heart knows where it belongs. Let days stay ordinary, we don't need to elevate them. Choosing each other quietly is already enough. Still choosing you in calm moments, in familiar time, in everyday love. So if nothing remarkable happens today, let it pass peacefully, because in the middle of ordinary life, I'm still choosing you, and that choice keeps love real. There's nothing special about today, no date circled on the calendar, no reason to pause the world and notice the hours move quietly, like they always do. But inside this ordinary flow, there's something steady I recognize, the way we stay connected without needing the moment to be memorable first. Nothing special, and still, it's us. We move through the day without ceremony, doing what needs to be done. Familiar past, familiar tasks, conversations that don't need rehearsing. Life doesn't slow down to romanticize us, and we don't ask it to. We've learned that love doesn't disappear just because the day feels plain. It lives in how we check in, how we share space, how we keep choosing closeness without announcing it. Ordinary days don't weaken love, they reveal it. Nothing special, still us, still choosing to stay. Nothing special, still us, still finding comfort right where we are. We talk about small things that would sound unimportant to anyone else. What we forgot to buy, how tired we feel tonight, what tomorrow might require. These conversations don't sparkle, but they anchor us. They remind me that love isn't always exciting. Sometimes it's dependable, and dependable feels safe. It feels like being included in someone else's everyday life without having to earn the invitation. Being included is its own kind of intimacy. Nothing special, still us, still sharing the quiet parts. Nothing special, still us, still choosing connection over distraction. Some days feel unfinished, like they pass without leaving a mark. No stories worth telling, no moments worth posting. But even then, your presence settles something in me. Not loudly, just enough to feel grounded. Love like this doesn't interrupt life, it fits inside it. And I've learned to appreciate how naturally we exist within each other's ordinary rhythms. Familiar doesn't mean empty, it means trusted. Nothing special, still us, still alive. Nothing special, still us, still choosing what feels steady instead of chasing more. We don't need constant reassurance anymore. We don't need every day to feel emotionally full. What we have lives in repetition. Shared mornings, quiet evenings, the way we return to each other without hesitation. Love isn't fading here, it's settling into something sustainable. And that settling doesn't feel like loss, it feels like trust finding its place. Trust grows where consistency lives. Nothing special, still us, still present. Nothing special, simplicity. Love feels lighter, I don't have to exaggerate affection. It shows up in patience and listening, in the way I stay engaged. Even when life feels repetitive, ease doesn't erase love, it supports it. Nothing special, still kind to each other. Nothing special, still choosing you without hesitation. The future doesn't feel intimidating from here. It feels like more days like this, ordinary, shared, calm. Love isn't something I reserve for milestones or celebrations. It's something I practice in how I show up daily. In every unremarkable moment, quietly adds up to a life that feels honest and lived in. Daily presence builds lasting connection. Nothing special, still aligned with each other. Nothing special, still choosing what's real. Years from now, we might forget what made certain days different, but we'll remember this, that love didn't need constant excitement to survive. It lived in the usual, and that's what made it strong. Nothing special didn't weaken us, it grounded us. Nothing special, still choosing again. Nothing special, still right here. Let days stay simple, we don't need to decorate them. Choosing each other is already meaningful. Nothing special, still choosing. So if today feels ordinary, let it pass quietly, because nothing special still holds something mean. Choosing each other is already meeting reason. Coffee, quiet you. That's how the day begins most mornings. No rush to define it as meaningful. No need to label it special. Just warmth in my hands, soft silence between us, and the comfort of knowing this simple moment is already enough. Love doesn't always ask to be felt loudly. Sometimes it just wants to sit with us and stay. We don't wake up chasing inspiration. The room is still half asleep. The world hasn't fully started yet. There's no conversation we need to force, no mood we have to perform. Just a quiet understanding that we're here together. Life moves slower in moments like this, and love doesn't interrupt it. It blends in, settles gently, and feels exactly where it belongs. Coffee, quiet you, that's all I need this morning. Coffee, quiet you, nothing more, nothing missing. Coffee, quiet you, and I choose you without thinking twice. We've learned to be comfortable without filling every space with sound. Silence doesn't feel awkward here, it feels shared. The way you sit across from me, the way time doesn't rush us. These details don't ask for attention, but they stay with me. Love like this doesn't demand excitement. It feels steady, like something we can return to again and again. Comfort becomes intimacy when it's mutual. Repetition doesn't drain us, it grounds us. I don't feel the need to look beyond this moment, because love isn't hiding somewhere else. It's right here in the ease of being ourselves without explanation. Familiar moments build lasting connection. Coffee, quiet you when nothing stands out. Coffee, quiet you, and that's enough for me. Coffee, quiet you, choosing you feels effortless. We don't talk about forever in these moments. We don't plan or analyze what comes next. We let the morning exist without expectations, and that freedom makes love lighter. I don't need reassurance spoken out loud. Your presence already says everything I need to hear. This isn't the kind of love that needs constant affirmation. It rests comfortably in consistency. Consistency feels safe when it's shared. Coffee, quiet you before responsibilities arrive. Coffee, quiet you before the day unfolds. Coffee, quiet you, and I stay right here with you. There's beauty in mornings like this that don't ask us to be more. No pressure to make them memorable, no fear of wasting time. We let the minutes pass naturally, and love moves with them. I don't need grand gestures to feel connected. I feel it in how easily we coexist, and how little effort it takes to remain close. Ease is a sign of emotional safety. Coffee, quiet you, and I feel grounded. Coffee, quiet you, and I feel calm. Coffee, quiet you, choosing this simplicity feels right. The future doesn't feel far away from here. It feels like more mornings like this, shared, unforced, honest. Love isn't something I reserve for moments that stand out. It's something I practice in the everyday rhythm of us. And each quiet morning adds another layer to a life that feels lived in and real. Daily closeness builds lasting love. Coffee, quiet you, and I don't need more. Coffee, quiet you, and I don't look elsewhere. Coffee, quiet you, choosing you fits my life. Years from now, we might not remember the specific morning, but we'll remember how it felt. Safe, unrushed, steady. Love didn't need to impress us, it just stayed. And staying in moments like this is how love quietly lasts. Lasting love lives in calm moments. Coffee, quiet you, still choosing this. Coffee, quiet you, still choosing this. Coffee, quiet you, still right here. Stay quiet a little longer. We don't need to rush into it. Choosing each other before everything else already feels complete. Coffee, quiet, simple, steady enough. Coffee, quiet. So if the day starts softly, let it. Coffee, quiet. Because in moments like this, with coffee warm in my hands and you close by, choosing you in the ordinary feels like the most natural thing I know. Just another morning, nothing asking to be remembered. The sky looks the way it usually does. The light falls in its familiar place. urgency, no special signs, but I wake up with the same quiet knowing that even in days like this, plain and unannounced, I'm choosing you without needing a reason bigger than sharing the morning together. We start the day slowly, not because we have the time, but because we've learned how to make it. There's no rush to define what this is, no need to turn it into something poetic. We move naturally, comfortable with silence, comfortable with routine. Life doesn't pause for us, but love doesn't fall behind either. It walks beside us, steady, aware, present in the smallest details. I don't need today to be different to choose you. Just another morning and I'm still here. Just another morning and I'm still choosing you. Just another morning with nothing extraordinary, and that feels enough. We talk about what needs to be done, what can wait, what we forgot yesterday. These conversations aren't exciting, but they feel shared. There's comfort in knowing I'm included in your everyday thoughts. Love doesn't always arrive as a feeling. Sometimes it arrives as reliability, is showing up without hesitation when the day asks very little. But consistency feels romantic when it's mutual. Just another morning with familiar sounds. Just another morning without pressure. Just another morning and I choose us without questioning why. Some mornings feel unfinished, like they start before we're ready. But even then, your presence grounds me, not dramatically, just enough to feel steady. Love like this doesn't demand energy, it understands fatigue. It knows when to be quiet, when to simply exist alongside us without asking for more. Quiet support is still support. Just another morning and I don't look elsewhere. Just another morning and I don't feel lacking. Just another morning, choosing you feels natural. We don't need every day to move us emotionally. Some days are meant to pass gently. Love doesn't weaken in those moments, it rests, and rest is part of staying. I don't need reassurance spoken aloud. Your presence already confirms what matters. This isn't a love that has to be proven daily. It's one that's lived in quietly. Trust doesn't rush, it settles. Just another morning and I stay connected. Just another morning and I stay clanking. Just another morning, choosing you feels natural. We don't need every day to move us emotionally. Some days are meant to pass gently. Love doesn't weaken in those moments, it rests, and rest is part of staying. I don't need reassurance spoken aloud. Your presence already confirms what matters. This isn't a love that has to be proven daily. It's one that's lived in quietly. Trust doesn't rush, it settles. Just another morning and I stay connected. Just another morning and I stay kind. And just another morning, choosing you still feels right. There's freedom in letting the day be ordinary. No pressure to make it count, no fear of missing something better. We let the morning unfold naturally, and love moves with it. I don't exaggerate how I feel, I show it in patience and attention, in the way I stay present, even when nothing exciting happens. Ease grows where love feels safe. Just another morning and I choose patience. Just another morning and I choose care. future doesn't feel intimidating from here. It feels like more mornings like this, shared, calm, familiar. Love isn't something I save for big milestones. It's freedom in letting the day be ordinary. No pressure to make it count, no fear of missing something better. We let them know usually, and love made it strong. Just another morning was never insignificant. It was proof that love staying shows up in repetition. Just another morning, still us. Just another morning, still choosing again. Just another morning, still right here. Let mornings be ordinary. We don't need to decorate them. Choosing each other before the world asks for us is already enough. Just another morning, still choosing you, still presence, still us. So if today begins quietly, let it, because in mornings like this, with nothing extraordinary waiting, choosing you in the ordinary feels like the truest start. I know. Familiar feels right, not because it's predictable, but because it no longer asks me to prove anything. It settles in quietly, like a chair that knows my shape, like a room that doesn't echo. Nothing here demands attention, and somehow that's what makes it feel safe. This is the kind of love that doesn't try to impress. It stays. We've repeated these days enough times to know their rhythm by heart. The same pass, the same pauses, the same small check-ins. At first, familiarity felt subtle, almost unnoticed. Now it feels intentional. Love didn't lose its spark. It learned where to rest, and resting doesn't mean giving up. It means trusting that what's here doesn't need constant excitement to stay alive. What feels familiar often feels right for a reason. Familiar feels right when I'm with you. No surprises, no urgency. Familiar feels right because I don't need to look beyond us to feel complete. We know each other's quiet moods now, the moments that ask for space, the ones that ask for closeness. There's no confusion in that understanding. It doesn't feel limiting, it feels considerate. Love learned how to read the room, how to respond instead of react. And in that awareness, familiarity became something gentle, something dependable, something I can return to without hesitation. Understanding grows when attention stays. Familiar feels right in the middle of routine. Familiar feels right when days blur together. Familiar feels right because comfort here doesn't feel careless, it feels earned. There were days when novelty mattered more, when newness felt like proof of connection. But time taught us something quieter, that staying interested is deeper than staying attained. Love didn't need constant change, it needed care. And care shows up in how we keep noticing Familiar feels right when love slows down. Familiar feels right when calm replaces excitement. Familiar feels right because peace has its own warmth. We don't narrate our closeness anymore, we live inside it. Shared meals, shared silence, shared ways of winding down. None of it feels impressive, and that's the point. Love doesn't feel fragile here, it feels stable enough to let the day be ordinary without fear of losing meaning. And meaning doesn't disappear, it settles. Meaning lasts when love feels lived in. Familiar feels right from that feels strange. Familiar feels right when calm replaces excitement. Familiar feels right because peace has its own warmth. We don't narrate our closeness anymore, we live inside it. Shared meals, shared silence, shared ways of winding down. None of it feels impressive, and that's the point. Love doesn't feel fragile here, it feels stable enough to let the day be ordinary without fear of losing meaning. And meaning doesn't disappear, it settles. Meaning lasts when love feels lived in. Familiar feels right when nothing changes. Familiar feels right when every plane feels simple. Familiar feels right because choosing me feels as warm. We don't narrate our closeness anymore, we live inside it. Shared meals, shared silence, shared ways of winding down. None of it feels impressive, and that's the point. Love doesn't feel fragile here, it feels stable enough to let the day be ordinary without fear of losing meaning. And meaning doesn't disappear, it settles. Lay love for me and lasts. Familiar feels right today. Familiar feels right again. Familiar feels right because my heart knows where it rests. Let days repeat themselves, we don't need novelty to survive. Choosing each other inside familiarity is already enough. Familiar feels right, soft, steady, true. So if love feels familiar now, let it. Because familiar doesn't mean fading, it means we found a place where choosing each other finally feels right. Finally feels. Same day, the clock moves the way it always does. Nothing signals that today should feel different. The world doesn't pause to notice us, and it doesn't need to. Because somewhere inside this repetition, inside this familiar rhythm, there's a quiet certainty that even when the day looks the same, we do too. Still here, still choosing, still us. We move through the day without announcing anything. to explain what this is, no need to redefine it again. The same streets, the same hours, the same simple exchanges. At first sameness sounded like a risk, now it feels like stability. Love didn't fade in repetition, it learned how to stay visible without demanding attention. Sameness doesn't erase meaning when love stays aware. Same day, same us, still choosing to stay close. Same day, same us, still finding comfort right where we are. Right where we are. We talk about ordinary things with no intention of making them special. What needs to be done, what can't wait, how the day feels so far. These conversations don't sparkle, but they connect us. They remind me that love isn't built only in moments that stand out, but in moments that repeat and still feel shared. Being present is a daily decision. Same day, same us, no pressure to impress. Same day, same us, still choosing connection over distraction. Some days feel uneventful, like they pass without leaving a mark. But even then, your presence anchors me, not loudly, not dramatically, just enough to feel steady. Love like this doesn't interrupt life, it walks inside it, matching its pace, accepting its quiet stretches without fear. Quiet doesn't mean empty, it means calm. Same day, same us, still aligned. Same day, same us, still choosing what feels real instead of chasing more. We don't need reassurance every hour, we don't need constant proof. What we have lives in repetition. Shared meals, shared silence, shared ways of ending the day. Love isn't shrinking here, it's settling into something dependable. And dependable doesn't feel dull, it feels safe enough to last for. Trust grows where consistency lives. Same day, same us, still present. Same day, same day, same us, still choosing care without effort. There's relief in knowing today doesn't have to be memorable. No pressure to turn it into a story. We let the day be simple, and love breathes easier. I don't need to exaggerate affection, it shows up in patience and listening and staying emotionally close. Even when nothing exciting happens, he supports love when it's genuine. Same day, same us, still kind to each other. Same day, same us, still choosing you without ethic. The future doesn't feel distant from here, it feels like more days like this. Ordinary, shared calm. Love isn't something I say for milestones, it's something I practice in how I show up daily. And every repeated day quietly adds up to a life that feels honest and lifting. Daily presence builds lasting connections. Same day, same us, still kind to each other. Same day, same us, still choosing what fits our life. Years from now, we might forget what made days different, but we'll remember this, that love didn't need change to stay alive. It lived in the familiar, and that made it strong. Same days didn't weaken us, they proved we knew how to stay. Staying shows itself in repetition. Same day, ready to survive, choosing each other inside. Familiarity is already meaningful. Same day, same us, still close, still choosing. So if today feels just like yesterday, let it, because same days have taught me something true, that choosing you again and again is how love quietly lasts. This is an ordinary kind of love. It doesn't arrive with fireworks or promises shouted aloud. It slips into our days quietly, takes a seat beside us and stays. No need to explain itself, no need to prove its depth. It exists comfortably in repetition and familiarity, in the simple decision to keep choosing each other when nothing demands it. We didn't plan for love to look like this. At first we imagined something louder, something that always felt intense. But time softened our expectations, taught us that real connection doesn't rush. Now love feels present in quieter ways, in shared routines and understanding glances, and how we move through the day without needing constant reassurance. This love doesn't compete for attention, it knows it belongs. Ordinary doesn't mean unnoticed, it means accepted. This ordinary kind of love keeps choosing us in simple moments and familiar hours. This ordinary kind of love doesn't ask for more, it stays and feels complete. We talk about everyday things with no intention of turning them into poetry. What needs fixing, what can wait, how the day feels so far. These conversations don't sparkle, but they connect us. They build something reliable, something that doesn't fade when excitement rests. Love learned how to live here in attention and listening and staying present without expectation. Connection grows when love feels alive. This ordinary kind of love feels steady. This ordinary kind of love feels calm. This ordinary kind of love chooses presence over performance. Some days pass without distinction, no moments worth pointing out. But even then, your presence market, shared meals, shared silence, shared ways of ending the day. None of it feels impressive, and that's why it lasts. Love doesn't feel fragile here, it feels stable enough to let the day be ordinary without fear of losing meaning. Meaning settles when love stays consistent. This ordinary kind of love chooses kindness. This ordinary kind of love chooses care. This ordinary kind of love fits our life without effort. There's freedom in not needing to make every day memorable. No pressure to turn moments into stories. We let time pass naturally, and love moves with it. I don't exaggerate affection, I show it in patience and attention, and the way I remain engaged even when nothing exciting happens. He supports love when it's genuine. This ordinary kind of love chooses kindness. This ordinary kind of love chooses care. This ordinary kind of love fits our life without effort. There's freedom in not needing to make every day memorable. No pressure to turn moments into stories. They let time praise that it should leave me. That's what made it strong. Ordinary didn't weaken us, it grounded love endures. This ordinary kind of love still chooses us. This ordinary kind of love still feels right. This ordinary kind of love remains. Let love stay simple, we don't need to elevate it. What stays quietly often stays the longing true. Ordinary kind of love, steady, soft, true. So if love looks ordinary now, let it be, because this ordinary kind of love has taught me something rare, that choosing you in everyday life is how love quietly love. Here between moments when nothing is announced and nothing is expected, love quietly settles. Not at the beginning of something new, not at the end of something big, but right here in the space that often goes unnoticed. Between one thought and the next, between one task and another, I find myself choosing you without needing the moment to be more than it is. Life moves quickly around us, but not everything rushes. There are pauses hidden in the day, small gaps where time softens. We don't always name them, we don't always stop to notice, but they're there in shared glances and unspoken understanding. In the way we stay connected without interrupting the flow of life. Love doesn't demand center stage, it lives comfortably in the in-between. Not every connection needs a spotlight. Here between moments, I choose you in the quiet seconds, then no records. Here between moments when nothing stands out, I choose you, and let that be enough. We talk while doing other things, half focused, half present. The conversation doesn't need to be profound, it's enough that it's shared. There's comfort in knowing we don't have space we actually have, and stays without asking for more time than we can give. Closeness grows in realistic spaces, here between moments. I don't look elsewhere. Here between moments, I stay connected. Here between moments, choosing you feels natural. Some days don't offer anything memorable. They pass quietly without leaving a clear outline. But even then there's a steadiness I feel with you. Not excitement, something deeper. Love like this doesn't announce itself. It doesn't need proof. It simply remains present, woven into the fabric of everyday life. Presence doesn't need perfection. Here between moments, when time feels plain, I choose you. Here between moments, I lean into a steady instead of chasing more. We don't pause life to talk about what this means. We live it instead. Shared routines, shared patience, shared ways of returning to each other after the day pulls us in different directions. Love isn't hiding in grand gestures. It's right here in how easily we reconnect without explanation. Ease is a sign of understanding. Here between moments, I stay aware. Here between moments, I stay kind. Here between moments, choosing you doesn't feel like effort. There's relief in not needing to make every second meaningful. We let the day breathe, we let silence exist without filling it. Love doesn't fade in these spaces. It rests, and rest doesn't weaken connection. It allows it to last without strain. Rest supports love when it's genuine. Here between moments, I choose patience. Here between moments, I choose care. Here between moments, I choose you again. The future doesn't feel heavy from here. It feels like more spaces like this. Unremarkable, shared calm. Love isn't something I say for special occasions. It's something I practice in the pauses, in the transitions, in the ordinary flow of our days. And those choices quietly shape a life that feels real. Longevity grows in the in-between. Here between moments, I stay aligned with you. Here between moments, I don't rush ahead. Here between moments, I remain. Years from now, we may not remember what filled our days, but we'll remember this, that love lived in the spaces no one thought to highlight. It stayed where life actually happened, and that's what made it strong. Strength is built quietly. Here between moments, still choosing you. Here between moments, still connected. Here between moments, still here. Let life keep moving. We don't need to stop it. Choosing each other in the in-between is already enough. Here between moments, soft, steady, present. So if love doesn't feel dramatic today, is where love quietly leaves. No big plans tonight, no places waiting, no moments we need to dress up for. The day is already taken its share of us, and what's left feels quiet in a good way. There's comfort in not needing more, and letting the evening arrive without expectations. Right here, with nothing scheduled, I find myself choosing you as naturally as breathing. We come home carrying the usual weight. Thoughts have finished, energy mostly spent. The room doesn't ask us to be anything else. It lets us sit as we are. Love doesn't announce itself here. It settles into the corners, waits patiently for us to slow down. There's no rush to define the night, no pressure to make it meaningful. Being together already does that. Sometimes love shows up when we stop trying. No big plans tonight, just staying close. No big plans tonight, letting the quiet work. No big plans tonight, and I choose you without needing more. We talk about the small things we missed today. Nothing urgent, nothing heavy. The conversation wanders, then rests. Silence doesn't feel awkward, it feels earned. Love like this doesn't need constant movement. It knows how to sit still, how to exist without performance, how to feel full without adding anything extra. Comfort becomes romance when it's shared. No big plans tonight, no expectations to me. No big plans tonight, no roles to play. No big plans tonight, choosing you feels effortless. Some nights pass without distinction, no highlights worth remembering. But even then your presence steadies me, not dramatically, just enough to feel at ease. Love doesn't demand that every night be special. It understands fatigue, understands quiet, and stays anyway. But staying feels like care. Care doesn't need noise to be felt. No big plans tonight, and that's okay. No big plans tonight, nothing to change. No big plans tonight, choosing you still feels right. We don't fill the evening with distractions, we let it breathe. A familiar show in the background, soft light in the room, time moving gently. Love isn't competing for attention, it's woven into the way we exist together. The ease, the shared calm, the lack of urgency. This is what staying looks like when it's honest. Honest love doesn't rush. No big plans tonight, just being here. No big plans tonight, just staying present tonight, choosing you without question. There's relief in not needing to turn tonight into a memory. We let it be ordinary, And in that ordinariness, love feels lighter. I don't need to exaggerate affection. It shows up in patience and listen, in the way we stay connected. Even when the day has already taken a lot from us, seas grows where love feels safe. No big plans tonight, and I choose calm. No big plans tonight, and I choose care. No big plans tonight, and I choose you again. There's relief in not needing to turn the night into a memory. We let it be ordinary, and in that ordinariness, love feels lighter. I don't need to exaggerate affection. It shows up in patience and listening, in the way we stay connected. Even when the day has already taken a lot from us, ease grows where love feels safe. No big plans tonight, and I stay aligned with you. No big plans tonight, and I don't search elsewhere. No big plans tonight, choosing you fits my life. Years from now, we might not remember this night clearly, but we'll remember this feeling that love didn't need excitement to last. It lived in the quiet, and that's what made it strong. No big plans never meant no meaning. It meant love knew how to stay. Staying shows up in simplicity. No big plans tonight, still us. No big plans tonight, still choosing again. No big plans tonight, still here. No big plans tonight, still choosing again. No big plans tonight, still here. Let the night remain simple, we don't need to decorate it. Choosing each other when nothing demands it is already enough. No big plans tonight. Soft, steady, together. Soft days together don't announce themselves, they arrive quietly, without asking for attention. No urgency, no demand to be remembered. Just time moving at a kinder pace, and a calm understanding that being here side by side is already enough for today. We've learned how to move gently through our days, not rushing, not resisting. There's no pressure to make everything meaningful. Some days are meant to feel light, meant to pass without weight. Love doesn't disappear in that softness. It settles, it learns how to exist without needing intensity. And in that quiet balance, we find each other again without effort. Softness isn't weakness, it's trust. Soft days together, choosing calm over noise. Soft days together, letting love breathe. Soft days together, and I choose you without needing more. We talk without urgency, listen without planning our replies. The conversation flows, then rest. Silence doesn't feel empty, it feels shared. Love lives comfortably here in moments that don't ask to be improved. There's comfort in knowing we don't have to perform closeness. We're already close, just by staying present. Presence deepens when nothing together, no expectations to meet. Soft days together, no roles to play. Soft days together, choosing you feels natural. Some days feel slower than others. Energy moves gently, and we allow it. Love doesn't pressure us to be productive emotionally. It understands rest and knows when to hold space without filling it. And that understanding makes staying feel easy. Not because love is shallow, but because it's secure. Security allows love to soften. Soft days together, when time stretches quietly. Soft days together, when nothing stands out. Soft days together, and I still choose you. We don't need every day to bring clarity or growth. Some days are simply meant to be lived gently. Shared meals, shared pauses, shared ways of unwinding. Love doesn't lose depth here, it gains balance, and balance makes love sustainable without losing warmth. Sustainability is romance that lasts. Soft days together, no rush to define us. Soft days together, no fear of fading. Soft days together, choosing you still feels right. There's relief in letting days be soft. No need to sharpen them into memories. We let them pass naturally, and love stays with them. I don't exaggerate affection, I live it in patience and kindness. In the way I remain emotionally available without effort. He supports love when it's real. Soft days together, enough to end what's real. Soft days together, no fear of fading. Soft days together, choosing you, it's my life. The future doesn't feel demanding from here. It feels like more days like these, unrushed, shared, honest. Love isn't something I save for moments that stand out. It's something I practice in how gently I stay. And each soft day adds another layer to a connection that knows how to last. Longevity grows where love rests. Soft days together, and I stay aligned with you. Soft days together, and I don't search for more. Soft days together, choosing you fits my life. Years from now, we might forget specific details, but we'll remember this feeling that love didn't demand intensity to stay alive. It lived in softness, and that made it strong. Soft days didn't weaken us, they taught us how to remain. Remaining gently is strength. Soft days together, still choosing us. Soft days together, still here. Soft days together, still right. Let days stay gentle, we don't need to harden them. Choosing each other in softness is already enough. today feels light and quiet. Let it, because in soft days together without effort or expectation, choosing you in the ordinary feels like the most natural way to love. Every day I choose you, not as a promise spoken once, but as a decision that renews itself quietly. It doesn't arrive with certainty or ceremony. It shows up in the middle of routines, inside days that look familiar, where nothing has to be proven. And still, this choice feels clear, to keep turning toward you in the ordinary flow of life. We don't wake up every day feeling sure. Some mornings arrive with questions, others with simple tiredness. But love doesn't wait for perfect clarity. It moves with what's available, and even when the day feels neutral, I notice how naturally my attention returns to you. Not out of habit, but out of comfort, the kind that grows when staying feels safe. Choosing you doesn't need certainty, it needs presence every day. I choose you in quiet hours and familiar routines every day. I choose you without needing the moment to feel special. We talk about practical things, things that won't sound romantic to anyone else. Schedules, responsibilities, what the day might require from us. But there's intimacy in being included in each other's reality. Love doesn't live only in dreams, it lives in shared awareness and understanding what the other carries, and choosing to stay close without needing escape. Closeness grows where realism is shared every day. I choose you when nothing stands out, when days repeat every day. I choose you because consistency feels comforting. Some days are emotionally quiet, not heavy, not light, just steady at first. That calm felt unfamiliar, now it feels reassuring. Love doesn't need intensity to stay alive, it needs care. And care shows up in how we respond gently, in how we listen fully, in how we remain open without pressure. Care doesn't rush, it stays every day. I choose you in calm moments and soft silence every day. I choose you because this love fits my life. We don't stop to define us constantly, we live inside the connection instead. Shared meals, shared pauses, shared ways of ending the day. None of it has to be celebrated, but all of it matters. Love doesn't feel fragile here, it feels dependable enough to let the day be ordinary without fear of losing meaning. Meaning settles where love is lived. I choose you without question, without doubt. Every day I choose you, and let that be enough. There's relief in knowing I don't need to decide everything at once. Love isn't a single declaration, it's a series of small decisions made with intention. And each time I choose you in a moment that doesn't demand it. Love grows stronger, not louder but steadier, more capable of lasting. Strength is built in repetition. Every day I choose you in effort and ease. Every day I choose you without hesitation. The future doesn't feel intimidating from here. It feels like more days like this. Shared, grounded, real love isn't something I save for milestones. It's something I practice in how I show up daily. And every ordinary choice adds another layer to a connection that feels honest and sustainable. Longevity grows where love is intentional. I choose you, not because it's easy, but because it's right. Every day I choose you and stay. Years from now, we might not remember what made certain days stand out, but we'll remember this, that love stayed alive because it was chosen often. Not once, not loudly, but quietly, again and again. And that repetition became our foundation. Lasting love is practiced daily. Every day I choose you, still choosing, still here. Every day I choose you and that choice remains. The days keep repeating. We don't need to elevate them. Choosing each other in the ordinary is already meaningful. Every day I choose you, softly, steadily true. So if today feels like yesterday, let it be, because every day without ceremony or demand, choosing you is how love quietly becomes alive. Love in the usual way doesn't ask to be noticed. It doesn't raise its voice or rush to define itself. It settles into our days, moves at the pace we can keep, and stays. No need to be extraordinary, no need to compete with anything else. Just the quiet understanding that choosing each other like this is already enough. We didn't end up here by accident. We arrived slowly through days that repeated themselves. Morning routines, evening pauses, conversations that didn't need polishing. Love didn't demand our best versions every day. It welcomed the tired ones too. And somewhere in that acceptance, we learned how to stay close without needing to perform or impress. This love doesn't rush ahead of us, it walks beside us. Staying ordinary is sometimes the bravest choice. This is love in the usual way, quiet and present. This is love in the usual way, steady and kind. This is love in the usual way, choosing you without needing the moment to be more. We talk about real things now, what the day asked from us, what we still carry. These conversations don't sparkle, but they connect us deeply. Love lives in realism here. It doesn't escape into fantasy. It listens, it adapts, it stays engaged in being included in each other's reality. Feels more intimate than any dramatic declaration ever did. Real closeness comes from sharing life as it is. This is love in the usual way, without urgency. This is love in the usual way, without pressure. This is love in the usual way. And choosing you still feels right. Some days pass without distinction, no moments worth highlighting. But even then there's comfort in how we exist together, not loudly, just steadily. Love like this doesn't interrupt life. It supports it and knows when to speak, when to rest, and when to simply remain present without trying to fix or elevate anything. Presence matters more than intensity. This is love in the usual way. When days feel familiar, this is love in the usual way. When nothing stands out, this is love in the usual way. And I still choose you. We don't need to analyze what this means anymore. We live at shared meals, shared silence, shared ways of returning to each other after long days. Love isn't fragile here. It doesn't fear repetition, it trusts it. And in that trust, love feels grounded enough to let the day be ordinary without losing warmth. Grounded love lasts longer. This is love in the usual way, simple and real. This is love in the usual way, soft but steady. This is love in the usual way. Choose you. We don't need to analyze what this means anymore. We live at shared meals, shared silence, shared ways of returning to each other after long days. Love isn't fragile here. It doesn't fear repetition, it trusts it. And in that trust, love feels grounded enough to let the day be ordinary without losing warmth. Grounded love lasts longer. This is love in the usual way, simple and real. This is love in the usual way, soft but steady. This is love in the usual way. Choosing you without hesitation. There's relief in knowing we don't have to make today count. No pressure to turn moments into memories. We let time pass naturally and love stays with it. I don't exaggerate affection, I live it in patience and care. In the way I stay emotionally available even when nothing exciting happens. That availability is how love stays alive. Ease grows where love feels safe. This is love in the usual way, choosing kindness. This is love in the usual way, choosing calm. This is love in the usual way. And I stay. Years from now, we might forget what once felt exciting, but we'll remember this, that love stayed alive because it was lived, not performed. It didn't rely on moments that stood out. It relied on choices that repeated themselves until they became home. Home is built in repetition, So if love looks ordinary now, let it be, because love